Google Educator Group of South Texas, GEG.SOUTX.US. Welcome everybody to the first episode of GEG Learn for South Texas. And with us today, we're going to have Frederick and Fonz. Thank you, Frederick, for being here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Frederick Ballew. I'm at Ballew EdTech. I'm a certified innovator and trainer. I'm here in fabulous Minnesota. My name is Frederick. I usually go by Rick, but most people call me Fred. So whatever, I answer to either. And I'm going to be talking about AutoCrat and Sheets.
Awesome. Thank you. And just for those of you that do not know us yet, I am Mr. G. I am the Google for Education Group South Texas leader. And with us, we also have Fonz. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name is Alfonso, or you can call me Fonz. And I'm also Google Education or Google for Education Certified Trainer, Instructional Technologist, and I'm also the GEG South Texas Share Captain. So thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you. Thank you. So just so you know, we have our GEG Learn project. This is a brand new project that our South Texas GEG is trying to create. And thank you, Frederick, for being the first to take us on the offer. And if you are an educator, don't forget to visit us at GEG.SOUTX.US. So let's start with some AutoCrat. Frederick,
Cool.
Take it away.
Here we go. This one is called AutoCrat Your Sheets. So what exactly is AutoCrat? Let me get rid of that because I think you can see it. AutoCrat is a flexible, easy-to-use document merge tool that creates PDF or shared documents for spreadsheet data. So that's kind of a mouthful, but it's basically, I mean, not to speak ill of our fabulous Google, but baked into a lot of Microsoft tools is a mail merge tool. This kind of does that for you. So what do you want to individualize? Well, first you got to start with a template, but I'll get to that in a moment. What hopefully someone will plop into the chat is a Google form that we would like you to fill out. And that Google form we will play with later for a live demonstration how to use Google AutoCrat with Sheets. So step one, you're going to start a new Google Sheet and click on add-ons. You know that thing across the top there? You're going to click add-ons. And then what you're going to look for is AutoCrat. So it often will come up like this. This might be an old icon, but just type in AutoCrat, and that's where you're going to find AutoCrat. Choose AutoCrat and install it. It's going to ask you to have all the permissions. I believe it's my understanding, AutoCrat was originally created by an educator, so it will probably be safe with all your data, but it's like any other Google add-on. It probably wouldn't be there if it wasn't good for you. So you're going to go ahead and add the AutoCrat add-on. And then you're going to choose the Google Sheet that you want to create individual PDFs from. And click the add-on and choose AutoCrat and click Launch. So we would be in our sheet. You'd click add-on, you'd click AutoCrat, you'd click Launch. The next screen that's going to pop up is this. It says choose new job. What you're going to do is make a new job because you haven't made any before. For example, Google Sheets and AutoCrat demo is a good one. It might even be the one we use here in a bit. Who knows? But you give it a name, and you're going to need a name for it so you can refer back to it later. Then it's going to ask you to choose a template or create one. You can usually choose it from your drive. And usually it's good to have one to begin with, but we're coming at this backwards. You would choose your template, and then you would click after you've chosen your template, you would click the next button. And what it's going to do is it's going to map which sheet of your, which tab of your sheet you want to link up to the data. So theoretically, you would have a template, right, where you've done something like this, right, where you would put these 2 carets, and what that represents is what's going to be lined up to your data. So in other words, you've got a sheet, you've got a column. The top of that will be the column, right, with the data in it, and then each subsequent row will have information in that column, and that's what you're going to map to the column that will eventually puke out into each individualized item from the template. Oops, back here. So after you've mapped your sources, and make sure you don't get any red flags, I've baked that into the demo later, there will be red flags, you go to the file settings. You're going to need to give them a name. Here's where you decide how you want to do it. I usually choose single output if I'm going to print on a Mac. Let me explain that a little further. When you, if you are going to actually print this, if you are still occasionally using paper, you will want to do a single output, and then don't do this for the name, but you're going to give it a single output, give it whatever name you want to give it. Like, for example, I teach instrumental music. So when I give out my instrument recommendations to my students, what I will do is I will say their name, their school, because I go to 10 different elementary schools, and then I will list the instruments that they are recommended to play after they've tried them out. We'll see what that looks like in the fall. Anyway, I then print it out and give it to the student. Each kid gets their individual form. It will, if you don't choose single output mode, give you in your drive, if you have 80 students, it's going to give you 80 PDFs that populate your drive. Then you have to print each one of them individually. What you can do instead is do single output mode, and it's going to give you one file with 80 PDFs, in 80-page PDF, so you can print it. Either way, that's a bit of a tangent, but the idea here is when you choose how it's going to spit out each one of the individualized things, it's going to, you got to give it a name so you can find it later. And whether you want it to be a PDF, a Google Doc, or even a Google slide, which we'll look at later. Choose your destination folder. You can either create one, or it'll just throw it into your drive if you don't pick a folder, and then you can collect them all and do that later. Then you can add a dynamic folder reference. If there's anyone out there, out of all the people watching, that can tell me what that means, please don't hesitate to do so, because I don't know what it means. So I usually just click next. Then set merge conditional. This is a way of choosing kind of an if-then situation. 98% of the time, you're not going to need to do this. So I just click next. Then you choose how you're going to share the document. Like I said, in the past, I usually just print out individual forms. The demonstration we're going to do is sent via email. So share docs and send emails. If you're not sending an email, just click no. But if you are sharing it and sending it, click yes. Then add and remove job triggers. This is a way that you can set it up so that it sends out at a certain time. So for example, you have all your recommendations ready to go, but you don't want to send that email till the next day. So it's a weekend and you don't have to hear back from people, or however, I don't know how your life works, but the point is you can decide when it happens. You can run on form trigger or run on time trigger. So form trigger would mean as soon as new data comes in, it can spit one out for you. Specifically, like I think that's what Global GEG does. You enter that you've attended one of their sessions, and as soon as the form gets it, it just spits it out and you get an email. Or you can run it on a time trigger so that it happens later on. Either way, it's yet another tool that you have in your toolbox with AutoCrat. Then when you're ready to run it, because like right here, the next step would have been save or back. You're going to click save, and then that's going to show up here. So anytime you click on the AutoCrat add-on, it will be here. And that's where you will click the play button. So let's pop out of here and try a demonstration. So this was the form that was shared in the chat, where we asked for email, and then an adjective, adjective, adjective noun, adjective body part, verb, adjective, adjective. You know, like you do. The example will go to this spreadsheet, right? So we see that there are some responses. Let's go to the spreadsheet. Here's the spreadsheet that people have filled out from this form. So let's try it. We already have the AutoCrat add-on. So you go to open. It's working. Then, like it showed in the slide deck, we've got the new job button. Let's click that. It is now generating a new job. Name your merge job. Let's call this at. Click next. We are going to choose a template from the drive. Luckily, this is in a recently used. So let's go ahead and click use. The reason I picked this one is now that we've picked it, when we get to this screen, there are unmapped tags. Here's what that means. You have to be incredibly specific when you set up your template so that it actually, lines up with your sheet. Let me show you. Across the top, we have email, adjective, 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 noun. Notice they're all capital letters. But when we go over here, we see that. Which one did I not capitalize? Noun, right here. See in the little carrots? Noun is not capitalized. You have two ways you can choose to fix this. You can do it the hard way, which is change it right here. But luckily, already baked into AutoCrat is an option because it's letting you choose from this sheet what you are using. You can go right to here, find the one that has the unmapped tag, exclamation point. Go here and choose which column to map to. So we see that this was in the template, this lowercase noun, but there's no column to map to. So go over here and do that. Hi, Luis. So once you do that, click next, because now there are no errors. Click next. Now we're going to give it a file name. And once again, let's go with caret email. Oops. Caret. So now it's going to be multiple output. It's going to do it. We can choose Google Doc or PDF. I'm going to choose PDF. So all of you participating can print this out and keep it forever. Now you could just click save right here and be done, but let's go through those other options, shall we? Choose a destination folder. Let's choose a folder. And because it brings you to your drive, let's go with, if I can find it, scrolling, or just do this. That one. Select. So now it's going to get saved into the GEG-SOUTX folder, right? So now let's click next. Add a dynamic reference. Again, if there's anyone in the chat that knows what this means, please feel free to jump in and tell me. And because I don't know. Then click next. Set merge conditional. This is where you would add a condition, which again, I've never done and I'm not sure how to. Let's click next. Then share doc and send email. Why? Yes, we do want to send it as an email. Share it as a PDF. Allow collaborators to reshare. No. Send from generic no reply email. Yes, because I don't want to hear back from you. So we would do this. You can use tags, and we're going to go with the email is right here, right? So what we're going to do is caret capital EMAIL space ADDRESS caret, and then type a message here. All right, let's go ahead with next. Now, this is where we could run a form trigger. So every time a new one comes in, let's see what this does. You must enable triggers for this project before you can add one to this job. Well, let's see what happens. I've never done this before. Updating project triggers. Well, I guess so. Run on time trigger. No, thank you. And then let's click save. Email subject is missing. I thought I put one in. Type in subject. Here you go. Email subject is missing. Well, goodness sake. Oh, that's where it is. Haha. Sorry, it's my first day with the new hands. New, here you go. Boop. All right, next. Save. All right, so couple things I want to talk about. First, I've done this many, many times with my day job, which is teaching beginner band. I go to 10 elementary schools, and each year I have roughly 750 to 800 students. If I do that from a spreadsheet with over 100 things, it will almost always crap out and just not work. Because what's happening here is it's taking your sheet, sending it to the AutoCrat server, and then sending it all back. And oftentimes it just does not work out. So let's click new job here. Oh, no, wait, sorry. That's not what we wanted. Boop. Let's run it and see what happens. So like I said, in the past, I've done it with hundreds and hundreds, and oftentimes it doesn't make it past the first 100. So break them up into 100 or less. So while it's doing its thing with the 4 rows, let's go back here and talk about what I was just saying. Split jobs into 100 rows or less across different sheets, or AutoCrat has a tendency to crash. When done, look in the destination folder to check if it was created correctly. Because every once in a while, you may have done a caret wrong on your template, one of those arrow dealies. When all have been saved to one PDF that can all be printed at once, that was the thing I talked about earlier, the single output mode or multiple output mode. And when all are saved to Google Docs, you can view them individually or share them via email, which, I mean, we just demoed. So here we go. They just showed up. Theoretically, it will have popped into my email. Nope, not yet. Oh, wait. Nope, not yet. But here they are here. So let's take a look at Fonz's. Once upon a time, there was a monster that lived in a quick, happy house at the end of a happy computer. His hair was sleepy and it was all over his finger. His eyes were beautiful and sat at the very top of his nose. That makes sense. The monster was sad because no one ever came to running him. He was a friendly, enchanting. He just looked a little resonant. Ooh, I like resonant. That's a good word. It is Mad Libs, so it's not necessarily supposed to make sense. Because I'm an actual grown-up, this is what I put. Does not exactly work, but you can see how it works as far as AutoCrat is concerned. Any hoodle. Let's see, did we get an email? Come on, man. Nope. Did any of you get an email? Oh, well. Anywho, that is that.
Awesome. All right. Yes. Actually, we have plenty of comments.
Oh, thank God.
And so let's start with Luis Pertus stating that NYC rules, but he specifies NYC 19, where Stephanie says no, it's actually Sydney 19.
Yeah.
And I would care to disagree. Once I get accepted to VIA 20, it will be VIA 20 the best cohort ever. But that's just a personal one on my end.
It might be true.
Okay. Now, there's a comment that you're not from South Texas, and it is not necessarily that you live in South Texas, but our project called Learn is not necessarily our group participating in this, but Learn is, as we will see in a moment, an acronym that stands for, where's that acronym? Oh, there we go. Local Education and Resource Network of GEG South Texas, Learn.
Love it.
So the point here is that we're helping our South Texas community, even if it's having others like yourself. And thank you so much, Frederick, for being part of this first episode ever, or this first training after the introduction. So
I figure
thank
if
you so
the
much.
bar real low, this should go great for everybody who follows. So.
You're awesome. You're awesome. And we have a comment from Alfonso. Welcome, Alfonso. I don't know who that is, but Alfonso says that this can be awesome to issue certificates and badges. And as a result, Stephanie says that, yes, they use that for Global GEG for their certifications.
Ooh.
So
do they use a form trigger for that one? So, because I noticed when I've entered that, it I get it immediately. So are they using a trigger for that? No, I'm watching for the answer over here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking for the answer. Well, there is an answer to that. Dynamic
references
can be explained someday, but
sounds like Luis could do one of these Learn sessions. AutoCrat for not beginners.
Yes. His response to dynamic folders is that it's difficult to use.
It's not hard. Good.
Okay. Yes. So Luis Pertu says, yes, there's a form trigger to your previous question. And as far as a time trigger, I think that's probably the best option to pretend that you're actually reviewing the answers.
Right.
As opposed to just have them go. Get it?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've like I said, I've used this for a number of years, and I found a lot of the things I can do one thing very specifically, and I found all the things that have gone wrong with it. I haven't explored a lot of the other options. I have messed around with it with slides, specifically for using it for certificates and badges and stuff. Not badges, but certificates. In fact, one of the trainings I did a couple years ago on this, the guy that was sitting in there, because it was back when we had graduations. Remember that? Anyway, so these seniors that had won a number of scholarships, it was a way to print out all of the congratulations, you won the scholarship, and it looked all fancy because they printed it on pretty paper and did it on a slide, made it look all fancy. So he just sat there and did that for all 120 seniors that had gotten stuff. He was like, this used to take me all day. So it worked out really well for him.
Okay, so Luis Pertus has an awesome comment here. If you want to be a teacher or pretend to be a teacher that cares, you can use for the trigger to send birthday greetings to your students.
Oh, that's great. That's a really good idea. I mean, you'd probably want to change up the form occasionally so the kids aren't like, mine said the same as that kid. But honestly, the fact that it goes on the day, that's fantastic. That really is a great trigger.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I definitely learned something here today with AutoCrat. because it really blew my mind. Just like I said, I immediately thought, like, and Stephanie mentioned it, just the certificate, being able to just now going on PDs and working with my teachers, it's going to make it a lot easier to just issue out a badge immediately and just give them that little instant gratification of getting that badge, and then just kind of gamifying it a little bit and see how many trainings can I go to and get more badges and things of that sort. So that's really neat, Frederick. Thank you very much for sharing AutoCrat.
Again, setting the bar low. So this will be good for everyone who follows.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Did we get in under half an hour? Yes. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did awesome. All right. So unless there's any more questions or comments, I think we did awesome here, and it is time to finish today's training.
Cool. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I went to the your first meeting that talked about the Learn project, and it seems fantastically cool. I really think that it's gonna help a lot of teachers, and not just from South Texas, because I know the people on the chat now aren't from South Texas either. So this will be a good thing.
Yeah. So just to reemphasize.
Sorry, Carlos. Steph wanted to know if this is going to be happening every Friday.
Oh, no.
Every
I wish it could happen every Friday, but this is up to the trainers. So if you visit learn.soutx.us, we are asking for somebody to train the community, and our community is not necessarily teachers. Because of everything that's going on, what we're trying to do is help everybody, and including family, like parents, including or students, including small businesses, which also need help, and nonprofits like churches. And I'm not talking about the chicken. So the point here is to help our community, our group of educators, helping our South Texas community that is right now in this crisis. So how can we work from home? How can we give a sermon from home, in other examples?
Right. And a lot of the training that I've been doing, at least with my district, has been paras that that are not allowed to be childcare for essential workers because of health issues or whatever, are being asked to create content for the students. So if they've in the past done read-alongs for the littles or different enrichment things, they've had zero training. So I think this will help a lot of people in all areas of education, and like you said, all areas of the community. So yeah, I think if throw that link up in the chat again, because maybe a couple, I don't know, certified trainers who are watching might want to do some sort of training as well. Maybe, I don't know, just saying.
Awesome. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, they shouldn't feel like they should be obligated to, but like, I feel like they should, like they should feel guilt for not doing it. Do you see what I'm saying?
So Carlos, Stephanie says emojis work in sites. So
is that a comment or a question? I don't understand the ellipsis there. Or did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, no, you're on. Yeah, you're on.
Okay. I think I have emojis on my site, our site. And I just want to say thank you to that guy right there. He's awesome. And also down here, wait, which way? There. Y'all are awesome.
Thank you. This was fun.
Yes. So just like him, there we go. Just like him, if you want to be a presenter like him to show not just how it works for educators, but how it works for other group members of the community, let us know on the website, scrolling down all the way down there, learn.soutx.us. Also, either right here, myself, or down here, Mr. Fonz, we will be hosting it. Thankfully, we were able to have two of the GEG leaders hosting today. That was awesome. But more than likely, it's just going to be one of us.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, and it's time to end the show. So if I just can't find the button to end the show, I'll just have to say goodbye.
Thank you.
All right.
Google Educator Group of South Texas. GEG.SOUTX.US.